This world is unfixable. We can't change the laws of nature. We can't change the laws of physics. We can't change the laws of the universe. We can't change human nature. There are a lot of things that are going on that, as sentient beings, we are conscious enough to realize that these things are wrong. Not because we are affected negatively by these things, because sometimes you might feel like something is wrong because you are affected negatively by what's going on, and you're like, oh, it's wrong. And sometimes you can see that something is wrong even if you're not affected negatively by it. There are a lot of things that we've agreed as a collective that these things are wrong, but they keep on happening. Nature doesn't see anything wrong with these things. The universe does not see anything wrong with this. We have found ourselves in a world where things are the way that they are. We can decide that, we can try to change things. But what ends up happening is that we end up living a lie. We end up lying to ourselves. And we call this lie truth. If you realize that that's what we've always done. Human nature is evil. Nature is evil. The universe is evil. When things that we consider to be evil happen, we tell ourselves that these things have happened because something went wrong. We don't realize that these things are part of nature. Things work the way that they work in this universe. We could either lie to ourselves about how things work, and when things don't happen the way that we want them to happen, we say something is wrong, or we acknowledge that things work the way that they work and decide as a collective what is actually best. That is really, really important. We lie to ourselves a lot as people. Nature is powerful. The universe is powerful. We can complain all we want as sentient beings about the things that are going on in the world, but that's how nature wanted things to be. That's how the universe wanted things to be. So it's not really up to us. That is why I believe that antinatalism is the best solution that we have as humanity. We have found ourselves in this world that we didn't agree to be in, and realize that it works the way that it works. There's nothing that we can do about that. If a psycho decided to unalive a person, they will be able to do that. It's not like the universe will be like, no, this person is innocent, No. If a lion saw a person that it can attack, it will probably attack that person. It won't be like, no, it is wrong to attack a human because humans are special, because humans are loved by God. No. But we don't want to acknowledge that nature is cruel. You can see the way that we treat one another as people. Do you understand that most people are suffering because of how they are treated by other people? We are cruel as people, and that's part of our nature. We can demonize people who are cruel, instead of acknowledging that some humans are cruel, because, well, that's how nature intended for things to be, and there's nothing that we can do about that, because there will never be a point, and there's never been a point, where all humans were good. All humans cared about one another. All humans wanted to do the right thing. All humans were not selfish. Like, it has never been like that. So nature wants things to be the way that they are. There has to be people who are cruel. There has to be people who are good. There has to be villains. There has to be heroes. There has to be intelligent people. There has to be dumb people. There has to be tall people. There have to be short people. There have to be ugly people. There has to be beautiful people. There has to be people who are highly favored. There have to be people who are just going through hell. But that's how nature wants them to be. So if we decide as a collective that, hey man, look, this is how life is, right? This is really how life is. We can lie to ourselves all we want, but this is how life is. We can cry when bad things happen. This is how life is. We can pray to our imaginary friends, but this is how life is. Should we be bringing more people here? I often tell people that if there's something that we can say for sure is wrong, it's bringing people here, because they didn't ask us to bring them here. Bringing people here is like throwing people in a soccer field. Take fat people, throw them in. Take people who are crippled, throw them in. People who are blind, throw them in. People who are fit, throw them. You know what I mean? You don't care if a person is crippled. Like, this person cannot play. Like, you don't care if the person cannot play. Like, you gotta play. You gotta figure it out. I don't care if a person is fat. They have to play against people who are fit. And they didn't ask to be, be in the game. But we're like, no, you gotta play. You have to play. And we end up laughing at those who cannot play very well. Isn't that what we're doing in this world? Like, if a person doesn't really know how to function in this world, we laugh at them. Isn't that why some people have been bullied a lot when they were growing up? Isn't that why some people are still being bullied now and we say nothing? Do you understand how wrong it is to make someone play a game that they don't want to play and that they're not even good at, and laugh at them for not playing that game very well? Do you understand how evil you would have to be? I don't think people are getting what I'm really saying. There was a photo that was trending on Facebook where I live. Not even like where I live. Like, I live in South Africa. There's different cultures in South Africa. there's different tribes. There's my tribe, the Tonga tribe. So there was this photo that was trending among Tonga people. There's a photo of this kid. Now, humans feel like the kid is not good looking. So what people were saying was that, hey, you gotta check who you mate with. Just look at what's happening now. Like, that photo turned into a meme. You gotta eat the right food. When we say you must eat the right food, when we say you must eat healthy food, do you understand how cruel we are? We bring people into a world that they didn't ask to be brought into, and we bully them for not being fit enough according to our standards. Do you understand how cruel we are? There's no difference between forcing people to play the game of soccer, even if they don't know want to play, and not caring if they are fit enough to play. But you are blind, we don't care, play. You don't have to figure out where the ball is. Yeah, you crippled, play. If you can't play and you suffer because you can't play, we're going to diagnose you with mental illness. You have to be conscious to truly understand how messed up this realm is. You understand? Because people just believe the things that they are being told by those who seem to be more powerful than them, to those who are privileged enough to run things, to those who are privileged enough to make decisions for everyone, that you don't really see what is actually going on. That is why I give you different examples. I'm trying to show you that we are in a world that we didn't consent to be born into, and it doesn't matter if we're fit, we are forced to be part of this. It doesn't matter if we're not privileged, and if you're not privileged, the other humans, the other players are not going to help you, right? It's every man for himself. You do understand that a lot of people who are in bad situations, and it's not their fault that they're in that situation, and no one is helping. No one cares. So it will be like being forced to play soccer when you're not fit, and no one is helping you, and you just have to play, and everyone believes that you must play, and everyone believes that it's a blessing to have been put in the game. But how can you not want to play the game? And there are a lot of people who want to play the game. How can there are people who didn't want to leave the game, but their time was up, and you are complaining. You're not listening. What I'm telling you is the truth. Life is cruel, man. And most people who are suffering are not suffering because they made bad decisions. It's their fault. It's someone had to suffer. It's just how life is. There had to be winners, there had to be losers. And if you think that there is something that's really, really wrong with the world, and you don't think that it's people being brought here without their consent, you're like, no, there's just something wrong with the world, and I hate it. And what the question that you must ask yourself is, do you feel like there's something wrong with the world because you yourself are not doing really good? Because there's some people who think that they hate the world, but they don't. They just hate their situation. A person can tell you that if they were rich, they would actually enjoy being here, and they would actually love this world. And you're like, well, do you understand that for you to be rich, someone has to be poor? and you just happen to be the one who's poor now. So do you really hate the world? Because can only work that way. Not everyone can be rich. So it means for some people to be rich, some people have to be poor. So do you really hate the world, or you hate your situation? Like, you don't see how messed up the world is. You just hate your situation. It's the things that we enjoy about this world cause the things that other people do not enjoy about this world, right? Me winning causes something that another person will not enjoy about this world. Someone being super beautiful, that causes what we do not like about this world, because that means that person is going to be treated very well. They're going to have privileges, while the ugliest person is not being treated well, then they have no privileges. You understand? And that's how it works. For there to be winners, there must be losers, and things will always work that way, regardless of how we feel, regardless of how we suffer. The beautiful thing is that if you suffer so much that you can't handle the suffering, your own body will give up, right? Like, your own body will give up. But before your body gives up, you still would have had to experience hell until your body decided that nah, this is a bit too much. Until your soul be like, nah, I gotta leave, man. Like, this ain't it. The real problem is that we are making people play a game that they didn't ask to play, and it is not a fair game. Some people are crippled, some people are blind, some people are not fit, some people are not healthy, some people just don't know how to play the game. When you look at our world, you can see that there's inequality, right? We're not equal. Some people have all the advantages. Person is born in a rich family, they know how to function in the world, they know how to work with nature. Like, things just work in their favor, and they enjoy this. And there are people who are born in poor families. They don't know how to function in this world. It's not their fault, they just don't know how to. You can even teach them, but you find that they still fail to function. Is it really their fault, or they just don't know how to function? So you see, what is wrong is making people play a game that they never said they wanted to play. And it is strange that we don't understand that as people. Like, that is really, really strange, because it should be obvious. The world is unfixable. So it means that we are bringing people into a broken world, and we expect them to be happy. We expect them to function. We expect them to succeed. But what for? What do they gain for trying to succeed in a broken world? Do they become happy? Are we becoming happy? Do you feel like you become happier when you win? Because sometimes it might seem that way, but I don't think so. I think people were happy when they were children, and now they're not, even when they are winning. It's like, yeah, they will experience happiness, but just for a while. Like their happiness will be short-lived because they have too many problems that they're dealing with, and they've experienced a lot of trauma that they can't like heal. I mean, by the time you're 30, you've experienced a lot as a conscious being. Like by the time you're 30, you've experienced a lot, and you don't forget. It's not like you can just choose to forget some of this. Like, you don't forget, and you find that there is nothing that you are learning from what you're not forgetting. The memories are there, and you get triggered. And you're learning nothing. You're just suffering because of things that have happened in the past. Philosophers can say, hey, we suffer in imagination, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, we do, but that's the thing, we do. It's not like you can just not imagine things. You will, because you're a human. It's like thinking is like breathing. It's natural for humans to just think. We don't even know where our thoughts come from. You can tell yourself that you don't want to think negative. You don't want to think about negative things that have happened in your past, but you find yourself in a situation where you have to, or in a situation where you forget that you mustn't think about negative things that have happened in the past, and you just think about these things because you're always thinking. It's not like you can just stop thinking. So we can be philosophers and tell people what the real problem is, which is that we're not living in the present, blah, blah, blah. But can we even live in the present? Are we programmed to truly live in the present, or we will fail? Even if we try, we'll still be affected by the things that have happened in the past. Even if we live in the present, there will be things in the present that will remind us of the things that have happened in the past. Do you understand that we truly live in a world that doesn't play by our rules, in a world that we don't agree with, a universe that we don't agree with? That is why when some things happen, we cry, we scream, we become angry, we become uncontrollable, because we don't agree with the universe. The universe was like, yeah, it is right for that baby to be, yeah, that's good, but we're like, no, that's not, and we scream and we complain and we go on strike. You understand that we don't agree with this world because we realize how messed up it is. Someone is unalived, we don't go like, that is okay, but the universe was like, that's okay. That's why it allowed it to happen. And we have been like this since the beginning. We didn't agree with the universe since the beginning, but we've never managed to make things better. What we have done is lie to ourselves. Like religious people would lie to themselves, create their own morality. God doesn't want you to do this, God doesn't want you to do that. But if he didn't, why is he making us want to do these things that religion is saying God doesn't want us to do? Couldn't he have made us only want to do the things that he wants us to do? Couldn't he have made it easy for us to enjoy doing things that he wants us to do? Couldn't he have rewarded us more for doing things that he wants us to do, not punish us? I mean, we live in a world where people are being punished for being good. for trusting other people, for loving other people, for welcoming other people into their homes because they don't have homes. Like, trusting other people is you being naive now. Like, isn't that how God made things to be? That if you trust another person, you get screwed over. We're not being rewarded for being good people. So if God doesn't want us to be bad, why does He reward us for being bad? Why does the universe reward us for being bad? Why does nature reward us for being bad? Why does it not reward us for being good? What you must realize is that you actually be rewarded for being good. But I want to show you something. This is very important. You are rewarded for being good by people who have convinced themselves that God doesn't want us to be bad. And I want to explain this right. Naturally, when a person is bad, we respond positively to them naturally without even knowing why. Like, we don't even have to think. When a person is being good, we don't naturally respond to them by being good. We have to think. Maybe we have to remember what we've been taught by our religions, what we've been taught by people who, believe that this is good. Like, yeah, you gotta be kind, you gotta be this, and that's the thing. But nature has programmed us to treat people who don't really care about us better. People who don't really care about how their actions are affecting us better. We push those people and put them on top and treat them like kings, as if like they're kings of this realm, because everything is upside down, so evil is rewarded, so they are kings, and you know what I mean? Isn't that why we never get like a good conscious president? When you look at South Africa, the presidents that we had weren't good presidents. Even the ones that you think were good, they weren't. There are a lot of things that we weren't told, right? You look at some politicians, be like, yeah, that politician was in prison for 20 whatever months, 20 whatever years. While the truth was that he was in prison for maybe 18 or less. And he wasn't this like Jesus type of figure. Like, there are a lot of things that he has done that were wrong. But they don't want to tell you that. They want you to think that he's this perfect, he's this perfect person who wanted to save, the people that you worship. If you really knew them, you'll be surprised. Like, the people that you worship, the people that you think are great, the people that you think are good. The world that we live in is truly upside down. People don't just get to the top like that. It doesn't really work that way. We have been programmed to push the people who are bad to the top. But like, oh shit, you are bad. You deserve to be on top. Oh no, you're good. Yeah, you deserve to be at the bottom. We have been programmed that way, whether we see it or not. Because we're blind. Like, we don't see truth. People are blind. Like, they don't see obvious truth. So how do we fix a world like this? Is there really a way to fix a world like this? Can we fight our own nature? And does that make us happy, or we feel more miserable when we fight our own nature? Be like, you know what? Yeah, I was programmed to root for this person, but this person is not good. I'm gonna root for this person who's good. Yeah, I was programmed to love this person, but this person is not good. This person is mean. They're mean to other people. This person, you know what? They wouldn't even treat me right, but you still love that person. You won't be like, I'm gonna love this good person who will treat me right, who will be there for me even when things are bad, who talks to me whenever I need someone to talk to. You're not gonna care. You're gonna still want that person who doesn't care about. Like, that's how nature programs things. Because if you don't work with nature, you still suffer. You become miserable. So it's like it's a trap. You realize that we're not fixing this world. It's too broken. We just have to be conscious enough to realize that we are in a hell realm instead of trying to justify nonsense. Because that's what we're doing. It's like if we were in the Christian vision of hell, and there were some few things that we enjoyed there. Maybe few people get to enjoy these things, and we didn't know that we're in hell. We will be justifying what's happening. We will be justifying nonsense. People getting tortured will be justifying that, because it will be the only world that we know. So that's why we're justifying this. It's the only world that we know. No matter how bad it gets, we're still justifying it. We'd rather tell ourselves lies to justify this. We'd rather make excuses to justify this. But can we fix this world? Can we be happy as a collective? Because at our level of consciousness as a collective, even though most of us are dumb, but at the level that we are as a collective, we are able to see when things are wrong. Like at the level where we are as a collective, we can see when something is wrong. We're conscious enough to see when something is wrong, and we suffer because of that. Because if we weren't able to see if things were wrong, like if we were less conscious than we are, messed up things will happen and we'll still be alright, we'll still be happy. But we're so damn conscious that we're like, what the heck is going on? So the perfect hell will be a hell where our consciousness has been lowered so that we don't see that we're in hell. But what will happen if we started to become conscious? We'll be like, what the hell? We'll be surprised. And we'll have desire to like find ourselves in a world that is better. Isn't that why we lie to people about heaven? It's crazy that we lie to people about heaven. There has to be a heaven. If there's a heaven, why are we here? Aren't we told that in heaven we cannot even sin? So doesn't that mean that each and every person here qualifies to be in heaven because they can't even sin? No, heaven is perfect. There's no sorrow, it's only joy. There's no pain, there's no suffering. People will just enjoy themselves. But here there's so much suffering, and people do not want to suffer. People always want things to be better. Like we are always working for things to be better in our lives. And when you decide to start a business, you want things to be better in your life. You want to be successful and have more money, and you believe that things will be better. Then realize after a while that you feel the way that you've always felt, and you wish that things can be better than they are. We're not fixing this, man. Hey guys, it's Benedictine's The Truth, back with another one. I hope you are doing good. You're not suffering way worse than the hell realm intended for you to suffer. But sometimes it does happen that you find yourself suffering way worse than you were supposed to be suffering. The hell realm will always find ways to make you suffer. No matter what you do. Like, it will always find ways to make you suffer. I think each and every person who's here, they will experience suffering that they won't really be able to escape, no matter what they do. I think, an example, if you're supposed to be poor your whole life, you'll be poor your whole life, no matter what you do. If you find yourself having opportunity to make money, that opportunity will be taken away from you and you'll be surprised. How did that happen? That wasn't supposed to happen. You win the lottery and they tell you that a lot of people won the lottery, so you won't really make the money that you're supposed to make. You get a job and they say, oh, the company was being investigated for a while, and they found out that a lot of illegal stuff were being done by this company, so it will be closed for a while. And I study my own life and study other people's lives. I see that there are some troubles that they couldn't escape. No matter where they go, no matter what they do, life wants them to suffer that way. Like, it has nothing to do with them having limited beliefs. It has nothing to do with them manifesting undesired experiences. It has nothing to do with them not doing the right things. It has nothing to do with self-sabotage. The hell room wants them to suffer that way. Because even when they do things right, things that are beyond their control will happen. Be like, the problem is that you're not working hard enough. You're not very serious. And then they decide to change. Be like, you know what? Okay, I've heard you guys. You're saying that I'm not serious. They know deep down that they are serious and they've been serious. They've just lost hope. But they're like, you know what? Let me try for the last time. Let me be serious for the last time. And then they become very, very serious. But something that's unexpected happens. Life is one story repeating itself. Have you realized that? Like, life is actually one story repeating itself in so many different ways. It's like if you watch a movie that has hidden messages. Watch it for the first time. You kind of like figure out what it's like about, but there's still some hidden messages that you weren't able to see. You watch it again years later and you'll be like, damn, how did I miss that? Life is kind of like that. It's like it's repeating the same story in different ways. So you are getting new revelations every time. That is why you keep on facing the same situations. That is why you've always struggled the same way your whole life. And you was, surprised. Like, how do I always struggle in this way? It's one story repeating itself, but you are also becoming more conscious. So you are able to interpret this story differently. I remember yesterday I was having a conversation with someone on Instagram. They were telling me it's not a hell realm, right? Like, I agree with a lot of things that you say, but it is not a hell realm. I told them that it's a hell realm because it finds ways to make people suffer in the way that it wants them to suffer. Like, people are not suffering the same way, right? There are some people who have good jobs, but their life is not working. There are people who have good jobs, but they don't have children. I mean, I wouldn't consider that a bad thing. But if you have a good job, you have a good wife, and you want children, like you really, really want children, you can't have them, of course that's suffering. But I would say it's a good thing, because I really don't see how bringing more people here is a good idea. Looking at what is going on in the world, looking at what has been going on in the world, everyone kind of feel like the future isn't bright. I think each and every person is in this world is not very optimistic. It's like we all can sense that there's something that's bad that's gonna happen. Like, we all can sense that. But it's a hell room because it finds ways to make you suffer the way that it wants you to suffer. So you can say, hi, no, but look, some people have good jobs, some people have nice cars, but they're suffering in their own way, and they can't change that. A guy can be handsome, have money, but have a small dick. He's suffering because of that. So he's getting all the women, but he has a small dick. So he's suffering because of that. You know what I mean? Like, people suffer in different ways. You see people in the street and you think, no, there's some of these people are not suffering. No. The hell room is very, very clever, all right? It's a very smart system that we being controlled by. So just because you meet people and you're like, this person is doing well, everyone is suffering in their own way. There are some people that you meet that you think are suffering more than you, but that are actually comfortable in their own situation. Like, maybe they don't care a lot about the things that you care about. Maybe that person lives in the street and you're like, they're suffering, but you find that they don't feel as bad as you think they do. Like, you just feel like they're suffering because you wouldn't be able to survive in that kind of situation. It's like animals, for an example. Like, you wouldn't want to be an animal, right? Like, you wouldn't want to be a snake, but you might find that a snake doesn't really have a problem being a snake. So people are suffering in many different ways that you don't see. Damn. My camera almost fell because it's windy. So weird that it's actually windy, because now it's spring. You know, it's spring. I think last week it was windy, and I was surprised and it even rained a lot. Like, things are changing. So what must be realized by every conscious being is that you can never really escape suffering while you're here. What you can do is learn from suffering. Right? You can't really escape suffering, but you can learn from suffering. What do you even learn from suffering? There's a video that I published 2 days back where I was talking about like getting a girlfriend, how to get a girlfriend. Now, some people were saying that now, you know, people suffer a lot when they're in relationships. You know, women are this and that. So a lot of men are deciding to go their separate way. But here's the thing. In this realm, if you decide that you're going to run away from something, you never truly detach yourself from it. Like, you don't actually detach yourself by running away from something that hurts you. You actually detach yourself by seeing what it actually is, right? So what you must do is walk through fire, basically. Like, learn to walk through fire. Like, don't be afraid of being hurt. What your heart must desire the most is the truth. You must be able to see the highest truth in every situation. Now, I've read some of the comments from people who feel like it is actually best to just stay away from women. And what I've realized is that there are some things that they don't really understand. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're right that, you know, in this world, people really do suffer a lot, you know, when in relationships. Like, things are very difficult right now for both men and women. You know, women are facing their own challenges, men are facing their own challenges when it comes to dating, but things are difficult for both genders. But what I've realized is that there are some things that women don't understand. There are some things that men don't understand. And until we understand these things, we will continue to have the same problems, and we will decide to detach ourselves from each other. Like, as men and women, we will decide to detach ourselves from each other, not because we really want to, but because we are afraid of experiencing truth, right? So the best way to detach yourself is to actually experience the truth, so that you will lose interest in things. Like, you never really lose interest by running away. You lose interest by truly exploring something. One of the biggest reasons why I keep on fighting, right? I told you that I'm going to try to fight for as long as I can. One of the biggest reasons is because I can see that the more I try to explore this reality, the easier it is for me to detach myself, right? Like, the more I'm willing to walk through fire, the easier it is for me to see things as they really are. And once I start seeing things as they really are, I'm able to detach myself. I've given you this example before, and this example should actually show you something. I told you that when me and this other girl broke up, like the girl that really broke my heart, we broke up in 2018. When we broke up, I used to have nightmares where she was telling me something. You know, I would wake up and I would like as soon as I wake up, I would like hear a voice as she was whispering. Like, I would have real nightmares, for real. And I didn't want to talk to her. Right? I was like, it's over. I'm not going to talk to her again. It's good. But I kept on having these nightmares for like 2, 3, 4 months, and I was like, you know what? I gotta ask her, because it's something that she told me when we were still dating, but that I didn't like really take seriously. but I kept having dreams of her telling me that. So I decided, you know what, let me call her, for the last time and actually talk to her, try to figure out what she meant by that. And then, I called her and she explained what she meant. And after she explained, I completely forgot. You understand? Like, I completely forgot what she would say in my dreams. Like, I completely forgot what I asked her. And I even asked her, like, do you remember the question that I asked you? And she was like, I don't remember. It was so damn weird. But that showed me that to truly detach yourself, you mustn't be afraid to walk through fire. There is so much that you can learn from what you are actually running away from. I want you to understand. If you watch the Truman Show, in the Truman Show, Truman was afraid of what? He was afraid of drowning, right? He believed that he shouldn't be close to water because he's gonna drown. But that was really his way out. He wasn't able to, like, there was no other way for him to escape. He had to just try to cross the sea. That was the only way for him to escape. Most of the things that you are afraid of are the things that are keeping you in this hell realm. Don't be afraid to walk through fire. Don't be afraid of the truth. Try to operate from a place of strength, not a place of weakness. Like, every time, try to operate from a place of strength. So you can, keep on evolving, so that you can keep on detaching yourself, because this is bad. The reality that we're all part of, like, this is not a good reality. I'm not going to lie to you. We are truly in an upside down world. Like, that is something that everyone can see. You see, the people who will say that we are not in an upside down world, we are not in a hell realm, these are the people who have created their own stories to cope with reality. You remember this movie, Shat Island, starring Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio, I think he unalived his wife and drowned his kids. But he didn't want to believe that he did that. So he created stories in his head. I mean, it's a very, very confusing movie, but that's how it seems, right? That's how it seems. He drowned his kids, unalived his wife, and he was sent to a mental hospital. And while he was in that mental hospital, he kept on creating a story in his head. He told himself that he used to be I think he told himself he was a soldier, or I don't really remember what he told himself it was, but he was supposed to investigate, like, the disappearance of some woman in that mental hospital. He didn't think that he was there as a patient, so he created that story in his head in order to escape reality. So there are people in this world who create stories in their head in order to escape reality, right? Reality is that we are in a hell realm, but someone will be like, hey, there's a God, there's a devil, and all these kind of things. We know that these stories are made up. These stories were written by people. That's enough proof that they were made up. If they were not made up, God would have made sure that each and every conscious being know that these stories are true. We wouldn't be debating about these things. You know what I mean? In fact, we are the people who are busy trying to defend the Bible and all that. They are actually undermining God. They're actually saying that God is incapable of convincing the world that He's real and the Bible is true. Like, you would have found a way to convince everyone that these stories are actually true. So they're made up, but people stick to these stories. Why? Because they can't face the truth. But it's through walking. It's through walking through fire that you actually get to detach yourself from this place. It's like you are surrounded by fire and you're still being tortured. So to escape, you gotta walk through fire. You gotta be willing to face the pain. You must be willing to understand things as they really are, rather than telling yourselves stories that keep you stuck. Because if you're afraid to walk through fire, you will never evolve, and you will never detach yourself. What we're dealing with in this world is very advanced artificial intelligence that's like controlling everything, to keep us stuck in this realm. It uses whatever tactic it can use to manipulate us as conscious beings. It knows that we are cowards, so it will scare us in so many different ways. It knows that we're afraid of pain, so it will make us suffer when we are headed towards the right direction. Like when you are headed towards the right direction, this AI will make you suffer so that you'll be like, okay, there's a reason why other people are not taking this path. It's because they know that it's not the right path to take, and that's the reason why I suffer when they take this path. Like, no, be willing to walk through fire. Do what makes the most sense. Be willing to see things as they are, even if it means that you have to have experiences that you believe might be painful. That's the best way to escape. That's the best way to beat this artificial intelligence that you are dealing with. Is it? Otherwise, you'll be stuck forever. And like I keep on telling you all, that the more you focus on being brave, right? Operating from a place of strength, not a place of weakness, what's going to happen is that you will be training yourself to operate from a place of strength all the time. Because as consciousness, you are intelligent. Like, consciousness is wisdom, right? You are actually intelligent as consciousness. The problem is that you're stuck in this meat suit where you are feeling all kinds of emotions that are keeping you stuck, and you are afraid to have some experiences or to feel some emotions, even if feeling those emotions is going to help you free yourself. You're like, no, I'm afraid to be real, because if I'm going to be real, I'm going to lose the people that I'm close to. But that's the way to set yourself free, because you're going to see the truth. You're basically saying that you're afraid of the truth. Like, if you're not going to be honest, you're afraid of the truth. But the truth is what's really going to set you free. How does the truth set you free? You understanding things as they really are will force you to detach yourself. So even if you don't detach yourself, even if you don't consciously detach yourself, you'll be forced to detach yourself, because you'll be seeing things as they really are. It's a hell realm. You'll see the truth about everything. The more you are actually willing to walk through fire, the more you are willing to suffer. It is true on so many levels that we're not having a nice time here. Even though sometimes we do enjoy ourselves, even though sometimes we do get a break, but it's clear on many levels that we're not having a nice time. It's clear on many levels that people are not really happy. People are actually scared. We found ourselves in a reality where things are happening where we don't really have control, where it doesn't really matter how you do things. You still find yourself suffering. That tells us something about where we are. I do understand that we love to lie to ourselves, and we feel like that is strength, right? People lying to themselves, like that is strength. People ignoring the truth, that is strength. Like this is how we want to feel as people. But that isn't strength. That is what's keeping us stuck. You know, we lie to children when they're still very young, and they grow up believing the lies that we tell them, and because of that, they never, I think it's about rain.